What is going on, guys? So today I wanted to do a tackle review. So I'm going to go over some of the stuff I've used for the past few months here in Tennessee. We've kind of been in a weird, funky stage. The water temperature has been in the, high 40s to mid 50s over the last really 3 months. So I've kind of been fishing as if it's the fall to winter transition. I don't know if, we've had days where it was 65, almost 70 degrees on Christmas Eve, so it's kind of been weird. So we're in January now. We are January, what's today? January 16th, so mid-January, and I was on Dale Hollow Monday, and the water temperature was still at 50 degrees, so again, everything that I've fished this year or in the last 3 or 4 months has really been that more finesse approach. There's some swim baits mixed into that. There's some Ned rigs. There's some jigs. So I'm going to go over some of the stuff that I've been fishing. Rods, reels, line, baits, hooks, and yeah, let's get this thing started. So one of the biggest things for me lately, okay, so I've never been a big swim bait fisherman. I took a trip to Wisconsin back in September, and in September in Wisconsin we were definitely in that fall winter transition, and so basically I went with a guide out there. His name is Andrew Ragas, and we fished swim baits. We fished, your basic Strike King, what are the Rage Tail, basic swim baits, basic paddle tail swim baits. And so I fished those, and I catch fish on those, don't get me wrong. But lately, I've been throwing these Mega Bass swim baits. So these are called, I call them Hazedong shads, Hazedong, whatever you want to call them. Regardless, I've been throwing this size in particular, the 3-inch green pumpkin shad, and absolutely killing them. So that has worked on Old Hickory, that has worked on Tim's Ford, and that has worked on Dale Hollow, particularly this time of year. And honestly, I think it's all about the size. I've thrown other baits similar to this, same size. I've been throwing the, the Dark Sleeper lately. This has been another bait that I've been recently, having a lot of confidence in, and I love this bait. Mega Bass makes really good stuff, and people could say, oh, it's expensive, it's expensive, whatever. We're fishing, okay? Fishing is expensive. If you really love it and care about it, you will spend the money. So yeah, basically I've been throwing green pumpkin shad and USA goby. So both of these colors can represent, a sculpin, shad, bluegill, whatever. I really think the most important thing is that they're keyed on this size of bait, so 3 inches. I've tried to throw a little bit bigger baits. I've tried to throw smaller baits. 3 inches seems like, what they're going after. I've thrown a few of these Mega Bass Spark Shads. So really the only difference in the Hazedong shad or Hazedong shad and the Spark Shad is the size. So the Spark Shad is a little bit fatter. So it's got a little bit more kick to it. The body moves a little bit more. And I've been throwing this in dirtier water when it's a little bit more stained. Trying to get a little bit more, like vibration from this bait, rather than, I feel like the Hazedong shad is a good clear water bait. Very finesse. It doesn't have a huge tail kick or anything, and neither does this in this size. The 3-inch doesn't have a giant tail kick, but I feel like it's just enough. And so basically what I've been doing, so I've been throwing the Spark Shad on a lifted Jigs. I don't know if I have any of them. Yep. I've been throwing the Spark Shad on the lifted Jigs Ned EWG hook. Okay, so mainly because the head of the Spark Shad is thick. and so I can kind of thread it onto this EWG, and I feel like it stays on this hook a little bit better, and it swims better. And I love these hooks. I haven't had an issue with them. I think they use VMC hooks for these, and yeah, I've had a lot of, I haven't had it, nothing really bad to say about these hooks. And now for the Megabass, the Hazdong shad, I've been using these Trocar tungsten finesse jig heads. Okay, so this is a Ned Rig style hook. These are pricey. Okay, you get two, and I think it's like $6.29 or $6.99. They're pricey, but they are tungsten. Okay, and so basically, I'm just kind of threading these on, and using it as if it is a swim bait jig head. Now I have some of the Okashira heads from Megabass. I don't feel like they, honestly, I feel like they swim better. Well, I thought I had some. I know I have some somewhere. But anyway, I just feel like they swim a little bit better with that Ned Rig hook. Yeah, so basically, it sucks to lose essentially a $3 hook, $3.50, whatever you want to do the math. But if you're fishing a lot and you know you care about these Trocar hooks are sharp. They're sharp, sharp, sharp. You're not going to lose any fish. And like I said, that's just kind of what I've been using, and I really like this company. I kind of got turned on to Trocar by the guide I went with in Wisconsin, and they're awesome. They're so sharp. That's the only complaint I have about these hooks, is that they're so sharp. So that's kind of what I've been fishing as far as swim baits go. I've been fishing these Bass Pro jigs. I'm not huge on what jig company that I use. I use a lot of these Bass Pro jigs, and so I haven't had a problem with them. Strong hooks. These are the football one. This is the tungsten football jig, 3/4 ounce. Big jig. Really, what's more important to me is the trailer. Okay, so I use Doomsday Tackle Reaper trailers. Okay, and they are a finesse style trailer. It's not like a Bandito bug where it's got a ton of appendages, and I feel like that's probably the best thing for smallmouth. And I wish I had one to show you guys. I don't know if I have any. Boom! Alright, Doomsday Tackle Reaper. This is the smaller size. Focus in. This is the smaller size. This is the Muddy Bayou color. So this is a 3.2 inch jig trailer. Very finesse. I feel like this is the best for smallmouth. Now I fish for largemouth too, y'all. Okay? I do fish for largemouth. But this time of year, for me, it is easier for me to target smallmouth. Now, I target smallmouth year round, but I do still catch largemouth every year. But this to me, this is a jig is a bait that will catch largemouth and smallmouth. So it's cool kind of to fish that, because you know some baits you're just not going to catch smallmouth on. Okay. Me personally, I know people have, but I've never caught a smallmouth on a spinnerbait. I have never caught a smallmouth on a 12-inch trout glide bait. And so there's some baits that you're going to fish for largemouth that you're just not going to fish for smallmouth with. And I think that really comes down to size. Smallmouth just eats smaller baits, hence the name smallmouth. But yeah, I've been throwing these jigs though, and I think the most important part of this is the trailer itself. So that's kind of the brand that I've been using. And so yeah, that's it for jigs. So line. So I've been fishing, I fish Power Pro, okay? That's really the only braided line that I fish. Now, I did try something new this week. So this is Yozuri braid, okay? So Yozuri, this is a high-vis braid. And so basically, I just needed something last minute, and that's what they had. I couldn't find the High-Vis Power Pro. I believe you have to order it online, and so I didn't have time for that. I was fishing the next day, so I went to Academy. They had this Yo-Zuri braid, and I actually have been using the Yo-Zuri mainline too, the fluorocarbon that they make, and this is a leader, and no problems, no issues out of it. I actually really do like it, but this right here, okay, this is the stuff right here, okay. So Super FC Sniper, made by Sunline. Alright, so I've got 10 pound and I've got 7 pound. This is good line, okay. This is probably my new favorite fluorocarbon line, and it's expensive. Most of the stuff that I'm going to show you is you're going to pay the price, but if you care about fishing and you fish a lot, you want to have the best stuff. So, you know, this is some awesome line right here. I've got it in 10 pound and 7 pound. No issues. It's very strong. I feel like I don't have to retie new leaders as much. I don't feel like it gets as nicks quite as much. So that is probably my new favorite fluorocarbon. So I've been throwing. So let's talk reels and rods. Okay, so about 6 to 8 months ago, I decided to switch to all Shimano reels. Okay, so I bought one Stratic in a 2500 model, 2500 size, and so quickly after that I bought a 1000. Okay, and so I ended up buying another 2500, and now I've got 3 Corrado DCs. I absolutely love Shimano. It's one of those brands that is just tried and true. They've been around forever. Very smooth. I just love their products. So this is a Stratic CI4 or CL4, whatever you want to call it. And so I've got it spooled up with this Yo-Zuri braid, the High-Vis, and like I said, I usually use Power Pro, but I actually really do like this Yo-Zuri braid. I haven't had any issues with it yet. So the rod that I'm fishing is a Doomsday Tackle, the 47. Okay, so this is, obviously I'm wearing the hoodie too. Look, I am not sponsored by these guys. I don't care if I get sponsored by these guys. I don't care if you buy their stuff. Okay, I'm just being honest. I fish a lot of different rods. I've fished, I mean, even right now on my boat, I've got Dobbins rods. I've got an All-Star rod. I literally just sold probably 10 or 12 rods of mine, basically to get ready and clear out some space so I can pick up more Doomsday Tackle rods. Okay, so this right here is a 7-foot medium light. For the stuff that I fish, for the baits that I fish, for the Ned rigs, for the lightweight, for these 1/15 ounce jig heads, this rod is amazing. So sensitive. You can feel every single little thing on the bottom. When I fished Dale Hollow Monday, it wasn't like a, oh, I've got a fish. Every single time they bit, I felt it. Every single time. And now I've got a medium. I've got a 7.3 medium spinning from Doomsday Tackle as well, and I love that rod as well. But that is a rod that I throw a little bit bigger stuff on. So I'm gonna throw, you know, I might throw like some 1/8 ounce jigs. I might throw, you know, some small jigs. I might throw some bigger Ned rigs. I might throw like the big TRD on that rod. But this rod in particular has been my go-to lately. I feel like it's perfect for throwing these 3-inch baits, and I just absolutely love it. So, not saying you gotta go buy it, but if you are a sucker for the finesse style baits and finesse style of fishing, this rod right here, you need to get it. I'm just being honest with you guys. I'm not saying you have to buy it. I am not getting paid to say this, but it is a bad ass rod. Seriously. I wish there was a place that I could tell you to go, like Bass Pro, just to test it out. But I gambled I took a chance. I bought one of these rods, and I love it. 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 Can't say it enough. So, Doomsday Tackle. But that's really one of the only rods I've been throwing lately. I mean, I picked that rod up Monday, and I fished Dale Hollow the whole entire day and didn't set that rod down one time. It's the only rod I fished. So yeah, that's kind of what rods I've been using. Like I said, Corrado DCs, I've got those on every single rod that I've got an extra heavy. Actually, it's not. It's just a heavy. I've got a heavy casting rod from Doomsday Tackle. I've got a DC on it. That's like my bigger Swimbait jig rod. But that's kind of all that I've been fishing lately. And so earlier in the fall, I was fishing a lot of Ned rigs. I kind of backed away from that. So this is kind of what I was fishing more than anything, is the big TRD in the Yoga Pants color. And so that's a 4-inch Ned rig style bait, and that's what my 5.5 pound smallmouth came on this past, it was Black Friday, so it was the day after Thanksgiving 2019. That's what that fish came off this right here. And my other smallmouth back in Old Hickory Lake a couple years ago came off a Nico Baits Zaza worm, which is a 6-inch, essentially a Ned rig style bait. It floats, so it sinks to the bottom, kind of stands up, kind of like the Z-Man plastics do. And so I'm a firm believer in the bigger worms while fishing for Ned rig for bigger fish. Now, certain times of the year I'm not. And so for those certain times of the year, I like the Robo Ned. Okay, so this is the 3-inch Ned worm from Robo Worm. And this is the green pumpkin black flake. I love this bait. Not hating on Z-Man, but for some reason that 2.75 inch, the Finesse TRD, I just want it to be 3 inches. If I could get the freaking durability of the TRD in a 3-inch size, that would be it. That would be the bait that I fish all the time almost. And I hate to be so stagnant as far as what I fish and when I fish it, but that's just the bait, y'all. That's what I use, and I love using it. So another bait that I've been using lately is the Trick Shot. So this Trick Shot Z or Trick Shot Z, whatever you want to say, this is a Z-Man bait as well. It's probably a drop shot bait, but I don't care. I have been fishing it on the lifted jigs net EWG, and it works well on that. So again, that's kind of what I've been fishing lately over the past couple months. And you know, that's just, a lot of you guys ask me, how do you catch smallmouth? How do you catch big smallmouth? I've never caught a smallmouth in my life, yada 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 yada. Well, that's what I've been using. If you're not catching smallmouth and you're using the same exact baits, slow down your presentation. Okay, right now these fish want it slow. So these mega bass Hazdong shads that I've been fishing, they have almost all been picking it up on the drop. It's not a bait where you're just like jerking it around, trying to get a reaction bite. These fish want it slow. So that's kind of what I've been using lately. So I just figured I'd do a little tackle review for you guys. Let me know if you liked this video. Comment, like, subscribe. Let me know what you guys think, and we will catch you guys next time.